I'm now going to invite Matthew Wright. Matthew Wright and I knew each other in my early days of climate campaigning, where we kicked off in, I think we ran the first pro-wind turbine rally on the steps of Parliament House many years ago, back in 2003, 6? No, it's before 3. Yeah. It was just this, so people were, anyway, we were supporting renewable energy back when it wasn't fashionable. All right, so Matt's now gone on. He runs a business now called Pure Electric, who does, the sort of thing that, if you saw Tim's talk, was installing solar and evaporative air conditioning, reverse cycle air conditioning, all that sort of stuff. We've invited here today because Matt was one of the key lead of the Zero Carbon Australia plan, which was one of the first plans in the world to look at how to completely run a nation by 100% renewable energy. And how many years now is it? 10, 15, something? 14 years. So 14 years, he's coming back 14 years later, and he's going to present on how we might reflect on that plan with how in the context of how things have changed out there and the price of solar, that sort of stuff. So I'm going to hand over to Matt Wright, and the IT will get his talk up. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. And Adrian does feature in the talk. If it comes up. Here we are. Okay. So this is version 2 of the Zero Carbon Australia Station Energy Plan, which I'm working on, and it encompasses transport and buildings. So it's a plan for repowering Australia all the way to 100% renewable energy. And do I tell you to advance the slides?
Yeah, just say that. There's a keyboard on the left hand.
On the lectern. The lectern has on the lectern. So yeah, this is me. I was concept and lead author of the Station Energy Plan originally. Got a Masters in Renewable Energy and made a research partnership with MEI. Been a campaigner for climate and energy going back 20 years. And Pure Electric, my company, does efficient renewable powered homes, basically getting you off gas, electrifying houses efficiently. In the past, I've been the Young Environmentalist of the Year, Environment Minister's Young Environmentalist of the Year, got Mercedes-Benz $20,000 Research Award and Clean Energy Industry Young Leader Award. This is my company. I run it with Paul Schuster, who was also a volunteer on the Zero Carbon Australia version 1 plan. And we do the stuff I just told you about. And that's my house there. It's got a few solar panels on it. My neighbour, it's contagious because my neighbour's got half as many. So 40 kilowatts and 20 kilowatts. So here's the history. In 2006, Adrian Whitehead and Matthew Wright create Zero Carbon Australia project to attack myths about wind, power and solar energy. Run a special pro-wind campaign. Got to check those dates, maybe it was earlier. 2009, Zero Carbon Australia project commenced with hundreds of volunteers helping out. 2010, we launched the Zero Carbon Australia Station Energy, the version 1 plan. It's a decadal plan. 2014, Matthew Wright and Paul Schuster start Pure Electric to create a model of a gas-free electric homes running efficient electric solar with storage. And I started my PhD on version 2 in 2016. In 2024, we'll look at finalising version 2. So 50% wind is what we had in this is a recap of version 1. 44% solar thermal with storage and rooftop PV. 3% existing hydro and other renewables. 3% for winter design period biomass fire furnaces. 25% overbuild. So there's actually 25% of renewable energy potential that somebody could use for something else, but it's there so that we've got enough renewables in the middle of winter. But that was based on then, and we have now. So version 1 versus version 2. We solar thermal with storage. It's been replaced entirely with PV plus battery storage. There was 710 gigawatt hours of storage in version 1, and there's 40 gigawatt hours in version 2. It's revised to 1400. No biomass burning component in version 2. Version 2, all technologies demonstrate a repeating scale off the shelf, nothing new whatsoever. Wind turbines twice the service area for the same price. So actually it's cheaper, same sticker price. Wind turbines down 30% in price, and they have twice the swept area. Panels in 2010 were at $2.50 a watt wholesaling, and now they're at USD 12 cents a watt, expected to drop to 10 cents a watt within a year or two. 20 times reduction in PV panel cost, and lithium-ion batteries are down to $59 a kilowatt hour at the cell level in China, and about $20 they're in the money on their own, no subsidies, and there'll just be a bit of lag time for the prices of the total package to come down, like a finished battery that you need to face with your house. It's very close to the price where it knocks out, you know, a hydro dam or just solar plus battery does the trick. And we had a 650 kV HVDC in the Central Energy Plan, and now you can get 1100 kV HVDC for the same dollars. And if you adjust it for 10 years, it's actually probably about 20-30% cheaper. And it will do 12 gigawatts instead of 4 gigawatts to carry your power. So that was Zero Carbon Australia. Version 1 was a bunch of volunteers put that together. That was the Can Do campaign. It was done with Melbourne University, launched by various people, Malcolm Turnbull, Bob Carr, Christine Milne, Nick Xenophon and others. And there's Malcolm Turnbull at the launch endorsing us. We've sort of taken the story everywhere. There's David Suzuki on a panel with us, which is pretty exciting, meeting all these kind of people. And we took renewables tour of Spain. We took Tony Windsor and Ross Garneau. So that's sort of the recap. So this is the 2034 plan, the version 2. And we hope that it can get executed faster than 2035 because we're really like behind the times now already. So 50% wind power. So like I said, the new turbine now has a hub height of 175 metres. That's the middle rotor, the hub height. And the old ones were 138 metres. Back in the day, in Zero Carbon Australia Stationary Energy Plan version 1, everyone criticised me and the team of being extremists with these wind turbines. Now you can't even install a wind turbine that small in Australia. There's only 2 models being installed. A Vestas one, which is almost the size of the one I'm speccing in version 2. It's a 162 metre hub height, a 6 megawatt unit with about 160 metres of blade diameter versus the 175 I'm specifying in this. And a GE one, which is 150 metre hub height. So you can't buy a pathetic little one like we were extremely promoting back in 2010 because they're too small, pathetic and not approved. Okay. So on the solar, so yeah, and they've got 2 times the swept area now for a cheaper price, meaning diameter's gone bigger, and there's actually like instead of 12,000 square metres of swept area to capture the wind and then put torque on the motor and make it turn and make electricity. It's actually 24,000 square metres at the same generator size. So what it means in low and medium wind speeds, this turbine produces more than double. And the reason more than double, it's approaching double on the surface area, being double, but it's more than double because the hub height's gone up. So you're looking at about 2.25 the energy on average from one of these turbines versus the pathetic ones that we can't install anymore that everyone calls extremist owner. Specifying in version 1. So if anyone starts calling me extremist over this one, they can get stuffed. Okay? To put it simply. Solar, yep, 185 gigawatts of rooftop solar, that's small and medium scale, 20 kilowatt per house. So you've seen 20 kilowatt, I just showed you my neighbour's house is a small 20 kilowatt system. My house is a bigger 40 kilowatt system. Existing hydro and other renewables, 2%. We've got utility scale, the same as the contribution as rooftop solars, that's bigger stuff. Storage, 200 gigawatt hours behind the meter at houses and small businesses and so on. 200 gigawatt hours of commercial scale stationary storage, which could be at substations, at solar farms, at wind farms. 400 gigawatt hours of hydro storage, including Snowy Hydro 1 and 2, Thames Hydro and other. That's pretty much existing, it's under build and already there. And 600 gigawatt hours of rolling storage. So that's 8.5 million cars that have bi-directional 7.2 to 22 kilowatt AC charging on board. And it's really tipped into very rarely. Heat pumps do the heavy lifting, cutting down energy demand on a massive scale. So that's hot water and space energy heating, just low grade heat, really easy stuff. And we have 100% AC rated overbuild. So it's actually 200, no, it's supposed to be 150 anyway. 200% behind the inverter and wind to mechanical overbuilders. So what that means is that there's a DC rating on the panels that's much higher than the AC rating that they can present to the grid. That's like oversizing the panel to inverter ratio, and with the wind turbines, they're oversized mechanically. So like I said, we've got the same rating of wind that we had in the version 1 plan, but we've got almost like twice the surface area that we're actually harvesting for a cheaper price. So we could do it before, we could definitely do it now with the better stuff that's cheaper. So we're going to have the same wind locations and solar locations as we did in the Station Energy Plan version 1 for the larger scale stuff. That's the wind and the half of the solar that's utility scale. So wind power, 50,000 megawatts, same as NCA Station Energy Plan version 1, 23 wind sites, 2 times the generating potential in low and medium wind speeds. I covered that. Reason for increase in high uplight, that's a reason for 2 times generation potential. Enercon E126 is a small turbine now, we don't install them anymore. And turbines are growing at 3.5 metres diameter per year, 8% surface area. So they just keep growing and growing and growing and growing. That's the rate they're growing at. So over the period, we'll actually end up potentially installing a turbine at the very end that could have 60% more surface area than what I'm talking about in the plan. That'll be the one that you buy potentially in 2034. So on average, over the period, I can't remember what the average was, it might be 30% bigger than what I'm actually putting in the plan. So I haven't included that advantage that's going to come our way, that the turbines effectively get cheaper and bigger along the way. So yeah, the price per megawatt electrical has been steady, but the surface area and the capabilities for smooth grid interaction have gone up and up and up. With the latest ones, we're using the Vestas and the GE, that the only 2 turbines that get installed in Australia are so sophisticated that all the other turbine manufacturers don't want to enter the market because it's too expensive and costly to develop. So there's the solar rooftop and utility, and there's our utility scale stuff. I think that slide should have been there. Should have been one. Anyway, so here's the wind size. So that was the E126 back in 2011 that we specified. That was, everyone said was too extreme. And this is the current off-the-shelf one you buy now, which is the 7,000 kilowatt rated. E175 also comes with 6 megawatt rated unit. So you can see the difference in size, and because of that double surface area, it does fantastically. In low wind, it's producing double on the same site. And these are the turbines that are almost the same that are currently getting built in Australia right now. Only 2 models are currently getting built for projects. So the Golden Plains wind farm, which I've got here, it's getting built. This is really cool by Westwind. Westwind was one of the very few early sponsors of our project with a small donation, because they were a project company that didn't have any projects. Well, good news is, as of this year, they have a $3 billion project. So they're finally cashing in like 17 years later. So that was all because they gave us a donation at the time. See? Goes around, comes around. So they're building this, which is basically about half, about a third to half the size of, about half the size of a zero carbon Australia wind site. So it's 1330 megawatts of the Vestas turbines that are almost the size of the ones I'm specifying in version 2. So this is basically half the size of a wind site. So that's our model. We need double that in that location, and then we need 22 more of those sites around the country, and we've got a project. So this guy's already showing us that over the next 2 years they're going to build that example for us at half of the site. Yeah, this is without us getting serious about it. You know, we can do that. Did you hurry?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So with the solar, basically, some little take homes. It'll take 44 panels today to meet the average solar per house, but over the period it'll drop to 39 because the efficiency keeps going up with the panels. On average it'll be 39 panels, and at the last year 35 panels will achieve the 20 kilowatts. So that gives you an idea of the efficiency gains. And that's basically a 2 square metre panel, which is kind of cool now. They'll be facing north, east, south and west, because mostly we're trying to aim for capture in cloudy conditions. Matter, horizontal plane is best. And Inverters will support the grid, which they do now. Flexible exports allow exports up to 10 kilowatts most of the time. And that stuff's already been developed by SAPN and about to be implemented in Victoria. AusNet's already trialling it, and CPower are both about to implement it. So you can do all that without having silly pricing signals that dissuade people from installing solar. The design points meet climatic conditions. And this is what a 52 kilowatt system looks like. That's on my dad's house. 20 kilowatts my neighbour, 40 is my house, 37 is my sister's house, and 7 kilowatts my neighbour. I decided to wait on that. That's like a regular kind of pathetic size system. The good news is that the current average system going on is 10 kilowatts. So everybody buying a system this year is 10, so we're actually half the way there already. And we jumped from my house having 1.65 kilowatts, which is considered a really big system in 2000, to now having 40 kilowatts. We've jumped from the average house having 1 kilowatt 10 to 20 years ago, jumping up to 10 kilowatts now. So it's 10 times. So we can get there. We just need to double one more time, and then we're there, which we need. So I'll just skip through basically lots of storage, rolling storage, like Tesla Megapack style storage, Tesla Power style storage, and your existing Snowy Hydro and the completion of Hydro 2. This is what it looks like. This one is 3.3 gigawatt hours, so 60 of these ones that have been built in the US will do the job for Australia. And these keep getting cheaper, so I can't see why not. Bidirectional alternate current charging, it already exists in Ulricht in the Netherlands. So all EVs within 3 years must have bidirectional charging capability under the plan if you want to sell them in Australia. And all new car sales need to be EV within 3 years. We've been developing solutions like some people call it the right pipe, but it's just a pipe that goes under the footpath. It's the cheapest way to get people in areas to charge. We need chargers on power poles. We can just dial into NMI and link it back to your house. If you're in some substation area, you should be able to net charge that, and a few other diverse options like giant Tesla superchargers that have megapacks on site along with chargers to maintain grid, maximising grid assets, so reduce cost. And here's the plan. So, like I said, it's a 4,000 megawatt link between Perth and Port Augusta and onto Mount Piper in the old plan, and in the new plan, it's a 12,000 megawatt link for the same price. That gives us a huge amount of ability to spin power and give us diversity. That project already exists in China, done, and that was over terrible terrain. Our link across the island was really easy terrain by comparison. Key policy drivers to finish up is we legislate and fund a 10-year 100% renewable energy and efficiency plan, create a planning and project body, immediate increase in tax and ban all ICE car sales within 3 years, finish an optic fibre NBN, that one's just from Melbourne. Legislate flexible exports of 10 kilowatt grid access per house, battery and solar incentives for big target edge of grid. Stop Ausgrid's contagious solar export tax. We can do that right now because it starts July the 1st. Mandate EVs come with bidirectional charging. Legislate dynamic control be implemented for AC charging, and network pricing model overhaul to shift the pricing to coincident peaks. So at the moment, it doesn't reflect the costs that drive the network, and that's making us poorer. Okay. So any questions